right? But why don't you just do it the hard way? Or why don't you go as you are and then let the makeup people put the things on you that you need to look like? If I need to play a 45-year-old, you know, I would need to lose some weight, you know, color my beard black.
Which I've seen you do.
Yes, which I do. I'd color my beard black and all that, you know, wear an earring or something. Just to, you know. There's a way we'll do it. I can pierce tomorrow. You know? So the point is, our industry can be superficial, yes, because there are entrants, you know, but there are also levels at it. If you want to take your craft seriously, you know, shaping up is not going to be part of what becomes the most important thing.
We don't agree necessarily, but
ask a question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I will answer you.
Yeah, I like the process thing you talked about.
Yes,
you know, which is what we're trying to teach many young people who just want to jump the gun, right? They believe that if you had to do it for 20-something years, 30-something years is not my destiny. So my own portion is to do it for 1 year and 6 months and I am good. Now, my question is, what is considered true process? What time frame would you give true process? Or does everybody have their process according to their particular blueprint?
Of course. I mean, there's no time, you know, it's not the same timing for everybody.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to be, if you want to understand AI today, for instance, you know, it's a much shorter route. But you have to have the basic knowledge of logic and all of that. You have to have some form of, you know, education, you know, so that when you now start to study AI and how to deploy it, it becomes easier. You know, if you want to, the reason why tech is the way it is today is that those who are teaching it have found a way to circumvent, to go direct. Let me give you an example. If you go to, say, my village, and you want to teach kids in my village about AI, and they don't speak English, if you get a robot teacher who understands AI and teach them in a robot, they will get it.
Yeah.
Okay? So we have that disadvantage of having to learn English first before we learn every other thing. But the world has moved on to the point where you can now look for people that understand their language, and then you teach them directly, and then they can apply. If you want to be a lawyer, there is a recommended time frame for it, right? In America, it's even different. You cannot leave from high school to go and study law. They would need you to, medicine, for instance. You need to study your first degree before you go study medicine, right? So that you can't, the process is so regulated that you cannot.
You cannot
jump it. Otherwise, by the time somebody is lying on your table as a doctor, as a patient, and you are the doctor, you are going to kill the person. And that is what is happening in places where it is not regulated and where the process is bypassed by people who can you know,
package their way
through by buying exams and all of that, because it will catch up with you. How do you not regulate an engineer who is going to certify a plane to fly every day? How do you not regulate a guy who is going to operate on human beings? You know, how do you not regulate a driver who is going to drive public transport every day?
Even a construction company who's going to build your company. I'm going to give BC a contract, but I didn't care about her competence. Let me give it to her. Because she's not also checking to be sure that the person that she's giving is technically competent to do the job. Let you jump in.
Yes, I was just going to say, right, I was listening to an American actor, and he was talking about working actors and celebrity. And sometimes for us, because we're looking at the results, we think, because we're looking at success a certain way, we think that is how, that is the peak.
As a full picture.
Yes, there's some actors who are not celebrities, but they are accomplished and they're happy where they are.
Absolutely.
They know that there's no room that they will enter that they will not get the respect. But there's somebody who has done themselves to look a certain way, And they go to places and they have the fans and followers excited about them. But when they walk into the places like where they need to get acting jobs, they're just like any one of us. So the thing is, how do we see success? What is success to us? So if it's for you to just be a celebrity, there are many ways you can circumvent it to get there. And that's why I think the Kardashians have always caught a lot of flack, is that they came at a time where they were being celebrated for, people said, for doing nothing. It was a time where we celebrated people because this was a doctor, or we used to celebrate Oprah because many years in the talk show business. But we have these people who have figured out a way to package themselves to be celebrities, to be adored and adulated, you know, all those sort of things. But that is why I feel now we should have this conversation, because it's become dangerous now that people are falling for the scammers and making big mistakes because we are unable to differentiate packaging from content. Yeah.
It's so true.
Nicely said.
Because so this is quite deep. Because you know what led to this RMD is a social media post. Somebody was saying that they had to go and hire a foreigner to get a job and hire a car. So you come to Abuja with a regular car, you now go and get Prado, the proper Prado for that meeting, and get a white person to follow you.
People believe in sight and sound.
Do you think it's wrong to do that though? Like you have the content, but you know that if you go to the ministry without the pump
You won't get a contract.
you might not get the contract, but you know you can deliver. So you
absolutely. It's you have to be able to do some form of window dressing. You have to. There's nothing. Look, I can always speak from my experience, right? So I've always prided myself as an actor, right? When I went into magazine, when I went into journalism and I became a publisher, I realized that I needed to dress differently from how I used to dress as an actor. And I looked the part. I started wearing suits and ties and everything. And because if I need to walk into a boardroom and all of that, I needed to look a certain way. And I started doing that. And I remember that I was going to be, I had a meeting, Insight Communication wanted me to be a brand ambassador for a particular drink. And that day, I was supposed to, they said we were going to see the MD of the brewery. And I dressed up in my three-piece suit, and I had my Mont Blanc pen and everything. And we got to the meeting, and they just introduced me, this is Richard Mofe-Damijo, but he didn't say who I was other than that. So we sat down, and the MD kept looking at, the white guy kept looking at my suit. I said, oh, nice suit. I said, thank you. And he said, nice pen. I said, can I see it? I said, yeah, sure. And I brought my pen, and it was the big Mont Blanc, with the blunt ink, So I gave him, and he was trying, so I said, excuse me. So I took it, and I
showed him how to do it.
So he was like, oh, this is really, really nice. I said, thank you. So I think it was Jibi Awoshika that now said to him, oh, this is the guy that is going to be the brand ambassador, for this. So he said, give him the money. He said, do you see his pen?
What are we talking about?
Yeah. So the thing is, it is because I also know I have content.
Yeah.
And I need to make him comfortable. The reason why they used to tell bankers to dress in tie and all that is for people, is for confidence. There's a way they used to tell doctors to dress. Have the lab coat on, have the, it's for confidence. It's to help you, be able to relate. If you walk into a place where everybody's wearing a suit, and you go in there looking scruffy, you are disregarding a tradition.
Aye.
All right? So I was coming here today, and I said to my girl, how should I dress? And I said, old. I said old or young? And she said middle.
Middle, yeah. Since we're middle-aged.
She said middle. So I wore Ashoke, and I wore this, and she said, no, break it. Then I wore a
read the room.
So, you must read the room.
Let me take this caller. Chidera's in holding very well. Good morning, Chidera. I just couldn't stop already. Go ahead, Chidera. Are you still there?
Join him.
Hello, Chidera. Are you there? I think I lost that call.
Yeah, so for me now, what I hear is, and it still boils down to what we have all tried to say, is that we must work our content.
Of course.
We must, whichever industry you find yourself, you must be grounded in that industry. So the packaging is like the icing on the cake, which is the extra, but you must have that content. And that's why we need to also teach our younger ones that, okay, you want to go into this industry. What are you going in there for?
That's right.
What's the game plan you have for yourself? 5 years game plan. What's your 10-year goal? What's your 20-year goal if you're still going to be in this industry? Now, how do you grow into that? How do you keep upgrading yourself? How do you keep updating yourself? There was something I told myself. I said, every time I send you my profile, it has to add another page by the next year. So I had sent somebody profile recently and it was 2 pages. By the time I was sending another one, it was like, let me use that one. I said, no, it's updated. I have new things that we're adding to it. So if we can sort out the content, I want to believe that people who employ people are not fools. They actually know what they're looking for. It's just
but
that
they can be hoodwinked.
Yeah, they can be hoodwinked.
Absolutely, you can.
They can be hoodwinked, but I think at a level, they're not really hoodwinked. They've sized you up.
Nigeria.
They've researched you. They can trace what you have done and where you're coming from. It's just these new people, when you're just starting, you're looking for people that you can, real people can tell when you have something to offer. But when you now add that icing on the cake, it gives you a level
I always
playing
tell
field.
people in my mind that you judge me at your own peril. I'm not going to go dressing up like, you know, how to be impressing anybody. I'm going to be myself. And I get that, and I'm glad I'm very late to the party.
So again, it becomes a definition of what is yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Being yourself, what does
What
it
does that
mean?
mean?
What does that mean?
What does
Being
that
myself
mean?
is not something, is not what you probably take as trendy. I'm just myself.
Yeah, but you are not going to disregard being
So, let me give an example.
Looking good.
Just this week, I was telling my friends here that for the very first time in my life, I bought gold. I got calls. Yeah. I said, yes. Well, usually all the gold I have in my life, my mother has supplying me. But I use my own personal money for the first time. I bought this, and I'm so proud of it.
Yes.
Now, I have never been pressured because I have friends wearing gold to wear gold because I want to package. I enter certain places, and I'm not only wearing gold, but I know everybody around me is looking very rich and wealthy. I'm not intimidated because I am myself. So people see me and they might judge me. Her, please put her this way because they've judged me. But I'm fine. You can't judge me. It's okay. But you do that at your own peril because I can actually give you value and a serious value. So that's where I'm saying that there's got to be a middle line where being me should be respected regardless of how it makes you feel.
That's why I said it depends on what being you means.
You have to define.
Because somebody can look and you are not wearing gold, but they will look at your hair or look at your glasses
The $1 million hair.
look at your watch and they see it. You know how they say, oh, look at Mark Zuckerberg. He doesn't wear suit. He doesn't wear
T-shirt.
No, apart from that, he flies a private jet.
Thank you.
He does not wait in line like
regular people.
He's not entering the
there
same
are things
place.
that he does not. Yes, he does not wear the 250,000 and necklace and all that. But there are things that he would not joke with. That he probably eats Wagyu beef that is costing him $250
Everybody has their
for a
own.
meal.
Okay, let's go to your movie because I know one of the reasons why you're here is because of your movie. Tell us a bit about I think we're going to watch a clip of it so that we don't lose sight of that. Let's see the clip of RMD's new job. Oh, nice! Tell us about this movie.
Radio Voice. It's about loving, losing, and finding love again. And it's about women. It's also about women fighting the odds. Our society is not very kind to single women, for instance, and so the story is about struggle and overcoming, hurdles, and making ends meet in a very hostile place. So I have Inse, I have Nancy Sime, I have Damilola Degbite.
Beautiful lady.
I'm telling you, we selected them.
Yes.
Beautiful women.
And there is a young girl who stole the entire movie. Her name is Yasmin. And then I have Deyemi, of course, Timini, and Blossom. And myself.
The girl and the guy.
Yes, and then the good thing is the film was produced by 3 women. And directed by a woman as well. It's your man side.
That's amazing.
So these actors, were they picked
Yes, deliberately, yes, because we needed. This is my first produced film in a long while, in the new era, like I say. My last produced film was in the old Nollywood days, so I needed performance that would be strong, you know, and that was why I went for these people who will bring in performances, and everybody brought their A game, you know, for this, and I'm just waiting for the world to see how, you know, beautiful
the magic you have created. So what inspired the story? You know that this is the month of March, International Women's Month.
It is pure coincidence that it is such a strong, you know, female, you know, led film. You know, the men were just dots in the thing. I am an only child of my mother, and I love the strength that women exhibit in whatever situations they find themselves, either when raising their children alone or when they have lost husband.
Was she a single mother? Was she a single mother, your mom?
My mom, no, she wasn't. But in the film, there's a single, Nancy Simmons was a single mother, you know, raising her child. So I grew up among girls as well. I'm from a polygamous home, of course, and my two elders were girls. So I grew up with a lot of women, and so I've always been surrounded by women, and I love to tackle the subject of love in the strangest of places, you know.
RMD.
Are you allowed to now be shooting some kind of scenes and be saying
Exactly. What will the grandchildren say?
Now.
I have to ask you this question.
It's work, yes.
Are you still kissing at this age?
Of course.
Because your gray hair.
Yes.
RMD.
Yes.
And but today.
Ambas don't kiss.
Ambas don't kiss. Ambas are in church. They're worshiping God.
I'm praying.
These days you worship from anywhere. I lead from my work. I think that somehow evangelism, you know, or trying to steer society in the right direction does not start and end at the pulpit or in religious grounds. You know, you can do that. For me, I define my leadership as leading from the front. If you cannot be an example of what you are saying or preaching, then, you know, nobody's going to follow you. You know?
So
You know.
I want to ask about the sacrifices. You know, there's a new, this is the new Nollywood, and the fact that you are actively involved in this new system, what sacrifices did you make to be relevant here? What were the price you had to pay? Because some other person watching right now, they want to come back. We've had a lot of people coming back. They've taken a break. They're coming back and they're wondering, how do I get into it? You took a break. You came back. But you've been here for a while. What are sacrifices you've made to be relevant to this industry, to go back into producing?
And to make such a smooth transition from the old to the new.
Yeah, it looks smooth to us, but that's a sacrifice.
How did you do it?
It's loving what you do, and being invested in what you do. People think that you have to. There's a saying amongst actors. They say actors don't retire. Really, we don't have a time span. If I worked in civil service, I would have been retired
by now.
6 years ago. Yes, because you do 35 years. If you don't retire with the number of years you have served, you retire by age. I'm 64 now, so I would have retired 4 years ago. But actors don't retire. Nobody's going to tell me to retire. I can't. You don't run a bank for 10 years and the CBN will tell you. So there's no regulatory body that will tell me to leave. So. I love what I do, and I don't see myself doing anything else. I go out and I come back in because this is really
your soul's
what
work
I love.
keeps calling.
So the sacrifice is having to leave off anything, you know, things that will make. So I run away from things that will make me a celebrity.
Okay,
Yes.
what does that mean?
You know how you attach some kind of notoriety to celebrity. You know, so if you find me anywhere, I'll say, my name is Mofe-Damijo, I'm an actor. That's what I am. I'm not a celebrity. I'm an actor. Every other thing that comes after that is a bonus.
Okay.
All right. So for you to stay relevant in it is to keep improving your craft. If there are new people in the business who are bringing certain things to the business, you have to ask yourself if you can bring that to the business. And I've studied it, and I've managed to always bring whatever the audience is asking.
There's a question in my head for you, RMD.
Please, bring it out.
Let's bring it on the okay. Because I know that I've studied women a bit, and I feel like women get to midlife, and there's a bit of crisis, and there are different ways. And I would like to talk about you and your wife for a second, because I know we don't see or see much or say much about your wife.
She doesn't want to be seen.
Because she likes to be in the background. But women get to a phase where maybe all through their growing years, they want to be in the background. But they now get to their mid-50s or mid-40s and they're thinking, I want to shine too. my husband has been shining all these years. I also have dreams. I also want to do something.
Oh, she shines.
So how, but do you allow her shine, or do you, because we're not seeing it as your own. But
my entire life is about making her shine.
Oh.
And she shines.
So
I forgot. You know, so sometimes people think shining is being seen outwardly. No. She has thrived continuously. She just says one person being in the public eye is enough. You stay there and I'll be here. But is she happy with whatever she's doing? Yes. I'm her biggest cheerleader. You know, she's killing it where she is. You know, she works for Glow, and she's been there for 15 years, and she's doing great things there. So shining for her is being able to move forward in her career, being able to get to indulge in certain. She makes perfumes. Right, that's what I'm wearing. Anything I wear is from her. So I indulge her in anything. I support her in anything that she wants to do. In fact, I've been begging her to come back to radio, because she says, "No, I don't want to do television." I said, "But you are great on radio. Maybe one day you should just."
She comes to around.
Let me rephrase the question I wanted to ask earlier about sacrifice, because I feel like you have 2 degrees, you have masters, you've studied so much. Don't you think you would have made more money if you were not?
Yeah, so that's the sacrifice. So that's leaving the seeking for money or seeking to just be known and staying where you're. See, somebody said put it this. Somebody put it this way, like, do art. All right, do art so you can experience what it means to become. Right? You know what it means to become is to find your essence, to find you. So it is when you do art, either as a presenter or as an artist, as a painter, or as a pianist, or as a musician, as a singer. That is when you understand who you truly are. Because when you are doing art, you find out what is inside of you. You know, you play personally, I play characters and I'm like, wow, I have this inside me. You know, because people look at what you have done. I walked into a friend's house yesterday and they were watching Christmas in Lagos. And my friend was like, man, sometimes I look at you and I'm like, I can't relate. Me too. I said, even me. I said, that's why I can't watch me. Because when I watch me, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay.
You feel good. Tell us about it.
Okay. There's this question people tend to ask actors or people who have just been in their field for so long and just done that, and people recognize them for this. And they'll say, if you were not an actor, what could you have been?
Teacher. No equivocation. I would be a teacher.
Maybe not a lecturer.
Yes, when I say teacher, lecturer is being fancy. Because really, I love to teach. I teach. Everything for me is a teaching opportunity. So I would love to teach.
You see, I love the passion I hear, because I mean, I have a niece. She's a medical doctor, but her parents were like, go and finish this, your doctor, because she's a dentist. You know, but she says, no, I want to act. And when I see you with this passion, I'm thinking, how are young people who are so passionate about your craft, how can they learn from you or tap into you? Because many people are saying, I want to learn, I want to be like you. So any opportunities for young people to learn from you, or is there you have a mentorship program, or how to even act in your
I mentor a lot of people. I teach acting in different workshops at film festivals. I'm planning to do master classes on YouTube, tape them, and so I can yes. Very important. But like I said, every time I have a chance to talk to young people, I encourage them. You know that one of the best ways that a child grows up healthy is when they paint or when they try to play you know, with things and all of that. That tells you that the child is growing up well. It doesn't mean the child wants to be a pianist or an actor. It's just saying that the child has abilities. So it's always important that you let a child find himself or herself, you know, and that is by letting them play outside of lessons and school and all of that. They must be encouraged to do extracurricular.
Let me just give you a few minutes because we have to wrap up very soon. When is the movie premiering, time, day, venue, the whole works?
The movie premieres on the 6th, but it's a very private, you know, event. It's at the Mike Adenuga Center, the French center, and then it comes out nationwide on 11th of April.
Oh, that's nice.
Cinemas, yes. And then it will be in some parts of Europe and the UK, and of course America and Canada.
Okay. Yes, I was going to ask about the grandchildren.
Yes, I have 6. I'm my eldest. I have 6.
Wow.
Yes, my daughter just had twins. So.
Oh, congratulations.
So the brood is
Make you feel old.
I have been old.
From being an only child to having 6 grandchildren.
When you came on set, while you were working on set, and I was seeing the grey hair on your hand. See our RMD. What in that bag? 64.
We
don't want you to be old. We want you to just be RMD.
It's a thing that
and we just immortalize you for life.
I am embracing it, and I encourage people to embrace it because it will come. You know, I mean, I'm not going to be dyeing my beards
all the time
because I don't dye unless it's
except
for a role.
film.
Yeah, I mean, I've been grey since my late 20s. So what's the point? No hair, nothing. So just embrace it so you can.
Thank you very much. We have to wrap up. It was a pleasure having you. April 11th is going to be nationwide.
Yes.
Movie, radio, voice. We can't wait to watch it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day.